Greetings, Monsterites, and welcome back to World of Monsters, where today we will be reviewing the Crypt Keeper in the 5 usual categories, after which we will assign him an official rank. The Crypt Keeper is an original Tales from the Crypt comic creation written in the 1950s. To avoid confusion, I will be focusing on the actual TV host, as there are slight differences, particularly in appearance. The Crypt Keeper was the TV show host of Tales from the Crypt that ran from 1989 to 1996. There was also later a Tales from the Crypt animated series that ran through the 90s. The Crypt Keeper is depicted as a decaying corpse with a macabre sense of humor and a penchant for puns. He was and is an iconic figure in horror culture, referenced and parodied in numerous works.
She got herself a job and started modeling for Victoria's Secret.
A couple notable things right off the bat. He had a signature cackle and voice, and it took 6 puppeteers to bring him to life. And with that, we shall begin our process of scoring him in the following 5 categories: design and appearance, lore and story behind him, his power and abilities, the influence of this monster, and the potential for more. So starting with design, the Crypt Keeper is a great concept of an undead human with just some extraordinary freaky twists. The practical facial details are awesome, from the front, from the side, just splendid little details. The corpse has lovely bright eyes full of energy, but overall is not very tall, and we don't see that much of it in any enough situations. The Crypt Keeper is presented as a host of a TV show, first and foremost, after all. And so with that, I would give him a 6 if we see him more freed of that stationary sitting position. Seeing him in more action and seeing his body in more detail would definitely get him up there. But overall, I have to give the Crypt Keeper for design a 5 out of 10. As for lore, the Crypt Keeper himself tells of many stories, but there isn't much lore really on him. The Crypt Keeper was a product of Enoch, a two-faced sideshow freak, and Mirana, a 4,000-year-old mummy. Yes, you heard that right. A corpse and this two-faced character in the olden days. We have a fun appearance of the Crypt Keeper as a child. It's basically a baby living corpse. So as far as origin story and lore, that's pretty much it. But there are those details of its clear character, him being full of puns and dark dad jokes, or should I say mummy jokes. But aside from that, there isn't much else to its past and motives. I mean, it's a horror character telling horror stories, so sure, we see it torturing and killing persons here and there. So for lore, overall I give the Crypt Keeper a 4 out of 10. Now let's talk about the powers and abilities of the Crypt Keeper. It appears to be weak because, I mean, it's a frail, undead zombie, but we also do see it handle bigger tools and weapons. And who knows how heavy those bones are. Again, he is shown to torture people, meaning either he is smart, hence manipulation, traps, etc., or strong enough to take down such victims, or having the power over enough minion or minions to be able to do so, but we don't see hints of that much at all. And in addition to this, he has his own lair, so there could be, again, traps and other things located throughout there, and his advantage of knowing the way around, and all the other speculation that can go with that. So with what we're given here, and seeing him being able to have control over average, or possibly even a little bit stronger than above average humans, I have to give the Crypt Keeper a 6 out of 10 for powers and abilities. As far as influence, just how popular and how strong is the reach of the Crypt Keeper? Let's be honest, he hasn't stood the test of time very well past the 90s. I could see possibly there being a comeback. I don't see why not. It's a great character that had a very strong presence. I mean, at the time, it was a well-known American TV show, pretty much a household name. And as mentioned in the intro, he has had an animated expansion on the show, and currently still standing at this point. One of the last places where he has had an appearance, a cameo, would be Casper of 1995 as a crazed reflection in the mirror. So with all that and how little we see the Crypt Keeper these days, I have to give the Crypt Keeper a 6 out of 10 for influence. Just see and check around how many teens or young adults actually know who the Crypt Keeper is, without any pictures, just the mentioning of him. And finally, is there more potential in the Crypt Keeper? I would have to reply with a yes, considering we know that he has a crypt layer, we also know when and where he came from, and that he has a strong and enjoyable character. But beyond this, there isn't much, and therefore, if overexposed, would just become another overmilked character in franchise. Now I'm starting to rethink whether I should actually give him a yes or a maybe. But you know what, he's just such kick-ass fun, I'm keeping him at a yes. And now moving into the final tier ranking of the Crypt Keeper, first I have to make a quick shout out to our patrons, who I am so gratified find this channel, World of Monsters, entertaining, fun, informational, and just great enough that they offer their support and want to be involved in as well and take advantage of those perks. Thank you to the Monsterites that support us through Patreon. You all rock. So in conclusion, the Crypt Keeper ranks at the tier of a C. He's a C-tier undead monster. He's an excellent decaying human zombie design. It's just so fun, creepy, and scary at the same time. And so an excellent choice for a host, especially of this kind of show of horror short films. In my opinion, I think it would be great to see more cameos in the future here and there just popping up randomly of the Crypt Keeper. Of course, anything can be oversaturated, but I think that this is such an awesome horror icon that really maybe it doesn't require more shows or a movie or anything like that, but just more appearances here in various horror-related media. So sort of like I hinted at, I wouldn't want to see a full return unless it would be another HBO or other very well-funded and well-written scary TV series. I could see that work out. Just not going overboard unless this really becomes a strong icon and we just see crazy amounts of episodes going into levels of Doctor Who, but in this specific genre. I could see that work out. Would I want to see a deeper life into him and more origin story? No. Unless there's snippets featured as a side short comic somewhere in a magazine or something like that, or short clips somewhere after or before a movie or in some show. But there is no need to expand on specific lore on the Crypt Keeper, as that sort of milking could only help in degenerating this wonderful, horrific concept. Some mystery does him well, for sure. But anyway, let's see if he does make a big release somewhere after the release of this video. Did you know? What a surprise it is to know that the very same pair of eyes that gave life to Chucky in the first Child's Play movie were also used in this Crypt Keeper creation of Tales from the Crypt.